Your brain already deals with concepts of unknowns. Your brain already solves problems and puzzles. Let's go ahead and use mathematical language to express those sorts of things. As soon as I made that sort of mental shift early on in the year, I realized that I could do both, that like my students could get a conceptual mathematical education and still get the nitty-gritty of decimal multiplication at the same time. I'm Aditya. I was born in India, in Hyderabad, but grew up in Princeton, New Jersey. Then I went to college at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, where I double majored in mathematics and Sanskrit. I taught in Kansas City Public Schools at East High School. For 2 years, I taught 7th through 12th grade math. The population of my students was tremendously diverse. Most of them were called ELLs, or English Language Learners, and they split off mainly into immigrants and refugees. And there was also a special group of students called New Americans. And New Americans were students who had very little to no formal education and had also been in the country for less than a year. And that group of students, that class that I had of New Americans was actually one of the most fascinating for me to teach. And it was very fascinating because they came in, they completely nonverbal, a lot of them could not write, and a lot of them could not really read. And they couldn't speak either. So I had to start from counting, literally giving them grids on a sheet of paper and having them write 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., so that they understood the English counting system and decimal counting and how that worked. One of my first teachers when I moved to the US from India was my ELL teacher. She worked with me and taught me English. And I really liked her a lot. It's really interesting because a lot of my elementary school teachers, I don't remember their names because I couldn't say them, but I remember her face. And I remember her classroom because it was a very safe space. It was very important to model for my students. So I love listening to Indian music, so I was not afraid to listen to Indian music in the classroom. I was not afraid to wear Indian clothes in the classroom or to bring in Indian food for lunch and all of these sorts of things, and just have my students see myself as someone who's very comfortable in American culture and in Indian culture. I did come out of it with a very keen understanding of specific problems and challenges that face the immigrant and refugee student community, especially in this city. And I knew that I wanted to really go back and keep working with this community and keep working to find solutions for this community of students, especially because they had given me so much.